Welcome to the Great Scott Podcast. Today's guest, Garrett Marcantel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back once again to the Great Scott Podcast. Today I am joined by actor Garrett Marcantel. How's it going, Garrett?
Hi, I am good. Thank you for having me, Michael.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you on. And first off, I want to say congrats on your making your TV debut.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's really exciting. One heck of a journey to begin my debut, I guess.
Did you go out to celebrate once you got the call?
So yeah, that was January. Yeah, so life was normal. Yeah, I did. I was living in Brooklyn at the time, and I went to dinner with some friends.
Did you have to rush out from Brooklyn to Los Angeles?
Well, I left from Brooklyn and went to Austria, actually.
Oh, Austria. Okay.
Yeah, so that's where we filmed. So we were there for a little over a month, and that's where all of the main filming was done in the Alps. So it was quite stunning, and I was able to live in a castle for that amount of time, which I don't know how many people can say that.
Okay. I have to know about this. What was the castle like? I have to know about that.
Okay, first off, this thing is extremely gorgeous.
Yeah.
So it's like a real historical structure that I don't even know what the price tag would be on this thing if someone tried to buy it.
Yeah.
But it's like you walk in and you kind of just get lost on the murals on the wall and all the details, and you don't really see structures like this in the States. So it really just kind of helped throw you to a fairy tale romantic type of place. And then the castle also had things that I was not necessarily prepared for. So like dates essentially would be coming out of left field constantly. So I was in a position where I was on my toes and meeting constantly these new blind dates.
Wow. So how many dates a week did you go on?
Well, I don't know if I can answer that.
Okay, fair enough.
The way it is it's we would get 3 dates, and then we would have an elimination ceremony where you would have to make a decision and send someone home. And so you would have to really make the most of your time with that person. And you know, it's a beautiful place, but at the same time, you're asking real questions to try and get to know that person as quick as possible.
So it's kind of like the Bachelor then.
Very similar, but also you kind of add like Love is Blind factor to it.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
You know, you don't know this person necessarily, and then you know, it's like there's a lot of distractions, I guess, right? And so you have a date that's bombarded by another date. And so it's interesting to watch as, you know, everyone is like trying their best in that moment.
And then the guy from Cheaters shows up. Yeah. Anyways, whatever. So another thing about you, Garrett, is you're a advocate for preventing climate change, and that's one thing that I really do like about you.
Yeah, thank you. So I actually grew up in Louisiana, and as a kid, we had a lot of property along the coast. And from the time that I was 5 years old till the time I graduated high school, I watched a large majority of our land vanish. So when I got to university, I decided to focus more on the environmental route. And I studied natural resource management and geology, and then worked for the Park Service, and also completed a Master's of Science in climate science. So I also did some research abroad for a bit, and unfortunately, the jobs in the market in the States hasn't really been there, and so I had my student loans that were due. So that's how I ended up in real estate, to be honest, in New York. But I still, it's still a big passion of mine, because I personally, along with my family, went through a hard summer. This hurricane season, we personally were affected by Hurricane Laura and Hurricane Delta in my hometown of Lake Charles, Louisiana.
Yeah.
So more than half of our city, the structures were completely totaled. Um,
So how do you think we're doing here in the United States as far as climate change goes? We just elected a brand new president and
yeah.
started one of the positions was for climate change. So think we're in for something good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the biggest battle is going to be corporations and how we're able to create policy that is continuing to grow our economy, but also focusing on the fact that there's a real race that we have here,
Yeah,
and it's not just an American issue. This is a global issue, and so
that's true.
it's like I don't know where else you're gonna go other than planet Earth, and we all share the same resources here, and it's it's time that we all start thinking globally, just beyond ourselves. And
Absolutely.
I think that our president-elect has that vision, and I'm very excited to see things start to change.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure you're going to keep a close eye on that one.
Very much so,
Yeah.
and also like just try personally to keep doing my part and letting people know like what practical, sustainable things that they can do, and then also
Yeah, that's something else, Garrett. How can we prevent climate change? What are some of the best ways?
Yeah, I think it's kind of looking at your life. I think it's interesting too because COVID has really kind of made us more aware of how we live our life and what we're typically doing on our day to day. Living in a big city, taking public transportation is probably one of the best things you could do. However, I know a lot of our American cities aren't built that way. And so it's about like, how can you maximize each trip, carpooling, if it's safe, during COVID. So there's a lot of these challenges, but I think that you can do, standard retrofits in your home, look at your energy usage and find ways that you can minimize that. Also, be looking at things where you're purchasing from, buy local. And I think that is probably one of the, importing and exporting of goods is a real thing to our economy, but also I think it's important to educate ourselves on where food comes from, deciding to change your diet based off of that. Methane from cows, that's a real dangerous greenhouse gas. So maybe eliminate any type of cow product. So these are kind of just some of the quickest ways that you can minimize your impact.
And then going back to Hurricane Laura that hit Louisiana here a few years ago, you actually you do really love your hometown of Louisiana because you helped out your hometown by raising money and doing your part for the damage that was done.
Yeah, so it was really hard to see the reality of what happened right when COVID really started to make an impact on the U.S. And in New York, I decided to quickly go home. So I left New York City and spent 2 months in my hometown with my family, reconnecting and enjoying that landscape. And it takes a long time for the landscape itself and the wildlife to recover from a major storm like this. And not only that, but most importantly, the people who call that place home. So, I think the hardest thing was the fact that our government didn't necessarily have a true plan to help the people. They were left with having to cover all these expenses for evacuation, staying in hotels, and then when they got home, just the battle with the insurance companies and the fact that there really just wasn't the level of federal and state help that
Yeah, so
I did start a fundraiser to support my mom's nursing. She's a at-home hospice care facility that a lot of these nurses and clients lost their homes, and they also lost their jobs because there's just no structure to really house it. And so it's a sad story, but we're doing our part to help rebuild.
So which part of I want to say LA, but I mean Louisiana are you from?
It's a town called Lake Charles.
Oh, Lake Charles, yes, okay.
Yeah, so it's just over 100,000 people.
Is that on southern side of Louisiana?
Yeah, so it's the southwest corner of Louisiana.
Okay.
So Louisiana is like a boot. This is the heel of the boot.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So yeah, I guess you are near the water.
Yeah, we recorded I think it was 150 mile an hour winds during that storm.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Are you kind of glad to be where you're at now? No hurricanes, I'm sure, where you're at.
Yeah, but it's it's hard to watch my family have to deal with this.
That's true. That's true.
And it's like it's easy to say, oh, we'll just move to a new location, but our history and our heritage, we're Cajun people, and we've been in Louisiana since we settled the state in the 1700s, and so it's a real identifying place for the Cajun people, and it's hard to see that culture really bear the brunt of climate change.
Another thing about Louisiana, no one's buried underground, I don't think. Everyone has a high-rise grave.
Yeah. It depends on where in the state you are, but along the coast, yeah, we do have we build the graves up. So yeah, that's something different about Louisiana.
Absolutely. So are you looking at, so you mentioned that you're doing real estate. Do you still really enjoy doing real estate, or are you looking at becoming a pro actor now, moving away from the real estate market?
I love real estate, just because you're working with a lot of talented people, and you're meeting people from all walks of life, and it's a great way to really get to know a city and communicate like your favorite places of an area. I actually got into acting a couple of years ago. I just wanted to be a bit more creative, and I took an acting course in college, and I signed up for a course at HB Studio in the West Village. So I would do my real estate job in the daytime, and then I would rush to my acting class. And it was so nice because I was around other people who just wanted to be free in the art. And I really started to experience like what I was capable of doing. And I think I would love to keep myself open to future opportunities, just because I think there's one of the most special things about acting is being able to tell a unique story and share that with people that necessarily wouldn't have ever been able to see.
Absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit about the project? It's called 12 Dates of Christmas, and it's currently airing, correct?
Yeah, so it's on HBO Max. There's 6 episodes up. 2 more will come out next Thursday. And it's a holiday dating reality show, and it follows 3 leads. So you have a straight girl, a straight guy, and a gay guy lead. So myself, and we each are sent these blind dates during our time in the castle. And ultimately we have to make a decision on who we want to bring home for Christmas to meet our family.
Ooh, so that sounds like a very interesting thing. Is there any plans for more episodes?
I can't speak on that. You'll have to just tune in to HBO Max, and they'll do all the communication.
Okay, all right. So you mentioned how you just started kind of going into acting about 2 years ago. So how many times or how many projects did you audition for before picking up this one?
To be honest, they contacted me through social media.
Oh.
And I was like, look, I'm in this place where I'm living in New York and I'm single, and this sounds like a great opportunity. I didn't really know that much information. I didn't know the structure of the show, but I just stayed open-minded. So it was, to be honest, my first ever time auditioning for anything TV related.
Wow.
Yeah, and then just right before I left, I found out that I was the lead. And then I just kind of was thrown into a situation, and I was just trying to do my best, and I learned as I went. But it was a big project. I mean, we filmed for a bit over a month, and then we had a few breaks because of COVID, and when we were able to safely resume production. But yeah, it was a lot more time commitment than I initially thought it would be, but it was an amazing experience.
How's the real estate market doing now with COVID going on?
Yeah, well, I think it's pretty well known what's going on in New York. And I think for a while, New York prices were pretty high. And there's also a lot of inventory. And so I think now the demand clearly has decreased, and you have still such a large supply of inventory within the city. So you're having a correction start to take place within the New York City market. LA, on the other hand, is a different situation because there's only so many places in the US where you have weather like LA. And you also have, a strong economy here. And so that's really keeping the prices competitive, and people, interest rates are low. So people are wanting to purchase and to start building, wealth for themselves. And so the market's really on fire here in LA.
So I have one more question for you, Garrett. What advice do you give to someone who wants to get into the whole acting realm?
I mean, I just kind of kept myself open to opportunities. I mean, this is interesting because it's, this is a reality dating show, so it's not necessarily like a traditional acting role, right?
Right.
And so I think, like, as you're going and you're putting yourself out there, whether it's your story or you're telling the story of a character, but just stay open-minded, and look, if the story is meant to be told, I think it's going to be told. So, and I think just kind of just being comfortable in your own skin. And I think even in my course in New York, we talked about just kind of really being aware of yourself, but also just having that sense of a center. And I really leaned on a lot of those tools during my process here in the castle. And ultimately, I think, even watching yourself back on TV is a really interesting experience that a lot of people don't really get. So it's a complete growth experience, all in all.
Oh, you did something brave. You watched yourself on TV. Wow. A lot of people won't do that.
Yeah.
Well, Garrett, thank you so much for your time, sir. Much continued success. And again, congrats on the project.
Thank you. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Garrett. Hey, thank you, Jacqueline.
Thank
Happy
you, guys.
holidays.
Happy holidays to you as well. Bye.